This video will contain spoilers for The Last Jedi. I would say that one of the most controversial scenes in The Last Jedi is Leia's spacewalk. She's pulled out of the Raddus but uses the Force to pull herself back into the ship. I thought it would be appropriate to talk about how even an untrained Force user could survive in space using established Force powers. First, let's just quickly cover what actually happens when a human enters the vacuum of space without any sort of protection, because movies have shown us a ton of different, often incorrect possibilities. Experiments have shown that survival in space is possible for up to a couple minutes, but consciousness would be lost in about 15 seconds. It's also very cold in space, but heat leaves the body very slowly in a vacuum. You would definitely feel the effects, but you wouldn't freeze instantaneously like some films have depicted. So, a human with Force powers could very plausibly survive a spacewalk like Leia's. Star Wars Legends also gives us precedents of Force abilities that would make her survival even more likely. Jedi could create protective bubbles or shields in the Force to defend against lightsabers, other Force attacks, or even the vacuum of space. We've also seen Plo Koon easily survive in space during the Clone Wars, but I'll admit I think a lot of that has to do with the Keldor species and not just his use of the Force. My point is, there are Force powers that could aid Leia's chances of survival. But Leia is untrained in the Force. How would she know how to use those techniques? Well, first, I would say that she wouldn't have to use those extra powers in order to survive. She's in vacuum with no gravity. Even if all she did was use the Force to pull herself back to the ship, I don't see that as some monumental feat. There are also a few canon examples of Leia using the Force in fight-or-flight scenarios. The book Bloodline confirms she used the dark side of the Force to give herself strength when strangling Jabba the Hutt. She also uses the Force in Leia, Princess of Alderaan. There are times in her past where instinct took over and she used the Force to survive. I would also say there's a slight possibility she had some help. Kylo Ren hesitated and could not bring himself to attack his own mother. As she floated in space, maybe he used the Force to aid her. Maybe he created a stasis field for her or gave her a little extra nudge back to the Raddus. Honestly, I don't think that was the intent of the scene, but it's kind of a fun idea I wanted to mention. I think we're to understand that Leia did all of that on her own, and I wouldn't want to take that away from her character. So that pretty much sums up why I think Leia's survival is completely plausible. I have no issue with it happening, but I think a lot of people just found the scene to be a little strange. I have no argument against that. I found it to be a little jarring as well, but I did like seeing Leia definitively use the Force on the big screen. I hope that answers some questions about Leia and space and the Force. Do you have any more questions about The Last Jedi? Leave them in the comments and I'll attempt to answer them. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.